Section 3.1, Graphing Linear Equations, Day 4. How do you identify the x and y intercepts from a table or graph? So in 3.1, Day 3, we figured out how to find the x and y intercepts from an equation. This lesson is for a table or a graph. How do you find the x and y intercepts from this graph? If you're trying to take notes on this lesson, here's my suggestion to you. I would draw the x and y axis, I would put a dot and make a 30, put a dot and make a 20. If you don't want to write all those other number increments, I don't think you need to. So first of all, we need to find the x-intercept from our graph. So I'm going to write down x-intercept. So I've got to look for my x-axis. X-axis is the one that goes left to right or horizontal. If I look at where my line is crossing the x-axis, it's right here. That is at the number 20. That means my x-intercept is 20. Then I need to find my y-intercept. My y-intercept is the vertical line. Think of a yo-yo, goes up and down for y. My y-intercept, my line crosses the y-axis at 30. So that's all you have to do. Your x-intercept right here is 20. Your y-intercept right here is 30. How do you find the x and y intercepts from this graph? This time we're looking at draining a pool. So again, it says using the labels, what do the intercepts mean in this graph? So we have something extra to do this time. So if you're making this graph in your notes, again, I would put a dot right here at where the line crosses the x-axis, and I'd put a dot right here where the line crosses the y-axis. Remember, this is x, this is y. So first of all, they want us to write the intercepts. So my x-intercept, my line crosses the x-axis right here, so it's 14. Y-intercept, my line crosses the y-axis right here, which is 10,000. Now it says, using the labels, what do the intercepts mean? Well, before we can explain what they mean, I'm going to write down the coordinate points for my intercepts. So this one right here is 14, 0. This one right here is 0, 10,000. All right, so let's look at this one first. The 14 right here means the time in hours. So after 14 hours, and then I gotta look at my label on the right, the volume in gallons. So the 0 means there are 0 gallons, and then remember we're draining a pool, of water in the pool. My other intercept, so the 0, so after 0 hours, so they haven't done anything yet, there are 10,000 gallons of water in the pool. So let's see if that makes sense. Right here, we're starting at the left of the graph. We're draining a pool. So right there, no time has passed. The pool has all the water in it. After 14 hours have passed, there's no water left in our pool. We want, if we're draining, our line is going down from left to right because the water is slowly going out of the pool. How do you find the x and y intercepts from this graph? And then we're going to label again. Orthodontic payments. So let's write down x-intercept, y-intercept. Move these up a little bit so I have more room to write. Okay, so our line crosses the x-axis right here, which is 60. Our line crosses the y-axis right here, which is 5,000. Let's label both of those coordinate points. So this one right here is 60, 0. This one right here is 0, 5,000. Okay, 60, 0. The 60 means after, so the number of $85 payments. So after 60 $85 payments. Okay, then let's see what that 0 means. That's my remaining balance, because that's my y. The balance is 0. So when you're writing an explanation, both of these numbers, 60 and 0, match your coordinate point. And that was true on the last example as well. 0, 5,000, so after 0 $85 payments, the balance is 5,000. And again, if I did this right, 0, then 5,000, I talked about the 0, I talked about the 5,000. So both numbers that you write about in your sentence should match that ordered pair. Now we're pouring peanuts. X-intercept, Y-intercept. My line crosses the x-axis right here at 500. My line crosses the y-axis right here at 2,000. Name those coordinate points. So the first one is 500, 0. My second one is 0, 2,000. So for 500, 0, that would mean after 500 seconds, there are 0 ounces of peanuts. And for my second ordered pair, after 0 seconds, there's 2,000 ounces of peanuts. How do you find the x and y intercepts from a table? Well, look at here. If we always found our intercepts, look at those coordinate points. 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0, 0. So we always are looking for zeros. So let's identify where the zeros are in this table. Here is a 0, so I'm going to circle that. And here is a 0, so I'm going to circle that. My x-intercept and y-intercept. So let's look at this for 0. When y is 0, x is -8. So that means my x-intercept is -8. When x is 0, y is 6. So that means my y-intercept is 6. Look for those zeros. That's the big thing. Where are the zeros in the table? All right, so now this time we're going to find our intercepts, and we're going to explain what the intercepts mean. So my x-intercept, y-intercept. Again, I'm going to look for those zeros. Here's one of the zeros. Here's the other 0. So if time and distance, we don't have x and y, but it's still, remember, time is always x, so then my other one is y. If x is 0, y is 248. If y is 0, x is 4. So then again, we're going to explain what those coordinates mean. So if I have the coordinate 0, 248, and I have the coordinate 4, 0. So what that means, after 0 hours, and someone must have traveled 248 miles. That must be, obviously we can't after 0 hours travel that many miles, so that must mean how many we have left to travel. So after 0 hours, there's 248 miles left to travel. And then 40, after 4 hours, we have 0 miles to travel left. We got to make sure that it makes sense. What are the x and y intercepts of the graph of the function? So let's look at this right here. My x-axis is right here. Crosses the x-axis right there, so that's -1, -2, -3. So x is -3. Y is up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So -3 and 6. My answer is A. Which is the best estimate for the x-intercept of the graph of the linear function represented in the table? Well, if you look at this table, we only have 1, 0. So that's automatically where we have to go. If x is 0, then y is 5. Okay, something is wrong here. Okay, they want us to make an estimation. So when y is 0, what do I think that x would be? So this is tricky. Let's look at our pattern on the right. 5, 3, 1, 0 would go somewhere in between 1 and -1. So that means my x-intercept has to be somewhere in between 2 and 3. So that one would be B. That one you need to read carefully on, because you'd think, hopefully, you'd see, oh, there is no answer for 5. I did something wrong. Well, they wanted to know the x-intercept, not the y-intercept. Summary. Homework is pages 157 through 158, 5 through 8, 12, 19 through 28.